Hey everyone, welcome back to I Teach You Science. Today we are doing another cluster set. This is called Splitting Iceland. There's 6 questions. If you can, please share this video with your friends and your teacher. And we're going to study for this Earth and Space Science Regents together over here. So it says base your answers to questions 1 through 6 on the information below and your knowledge of Earth and space science. So it says Iceland is a small island located in North Atlantic Ocean. It's known for its unique geology. The landscape is characterized by volcanoes, by glaciers, and geothermal activity. That just means like activity in the mantle that produces heat. It's normally like referring to like lava, eruptions, things like that. Due to its position on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, so it's on a plate boundary. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is an underwater mountain range in the Atlantic Ocean. Iceland is the only area above sea level on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and therefore a popular spot for geologists to study the movement of the plates. So you could see picture with some volcanoes. It shows the plates. And if you look on the reference table and you go to the plate boundaries chart here, we are talking about the area here. So you can see this is the North American plate separating from the Eurasian plate. Two really big plates. All right, let's see what it says. Iceland's volcanic activity is due in part to the movement of the plates, but is also intensified by a mantle plume directly under the island. That's like a hotspot. A mantle plume is located upwelling of hot rock material from deep within the Earth's mantle. The plume provides an additional source of heat and magma, fueling frequent eruptions and creating diverse volcanic landforms. Okay. So there's your plume coming up right under Iceland. A lot of reading here. Geologists can find information about Earth's interior directly underneath Iceland by studying seismic waves. These waves of energy created by an earthquake. There are 2 types, primary waves and secondary waves, P waves, S waves. When an earthquake occurs, both of these waves start at the same time at the focus, and then they can be felt on the surface. However, they're different. Table 1 compares the characteristics of them, and image 3 shows how the waves move through the interior. So I just want to go to this one and just look. Okay. So this is speed, right? So it's speeding up as they go through for the whatever waves A, and you could see A does not move through the outer core. So the outer core is a liquid. So if the A line is absent, we know A is the S wave, which means B is the P wave. So I'm assuming they're going to ask about that. P waves can move through both solids and liquids, is the first wave to be felt, speed about 8. S waves can only move through solids, the second wave, and the speed is slower. Okay. So what do we got to do? For each red line, place an X in the appropriate box to indicate whether it's a P wave or an S wave. Okay, so we could just do what we said. So A is the S wave. No waves through the liquid outer core. And then this is the P wave, because P waves can travel through solids or liquids. So it did go through the outer core. That was easy. That question, super easy. I would say that's like a 2 out of 10 difficulty. Thermal convection in the mantle under Iceland is the process by which matter moves due to temperature and density differences. So again, heat rises always, right? So heat goes up. Heat goes up because it's less dense. That's why it rises. Okay, so red is hot and then blue is colder. Use image 4 to determine the correct descriptions of what is happening to matter as a result of the flow of energies at 1 and 2 in the model. So this is a giant convection current. It's not great in the picture, but we're rising here and we're kind of sinking back down here. So I think this is what they're going for here. Let's see. Oh. Read the descriptions. Place the 2 numbers of the correct descriptions for 1 and 2 on the lines provided. Okay, so we need the one where it's heating, it becomes less dense and rises. So let's look at the heating. Material heats, becomes less dense, and rises. 3. So this is going to go at 1. That's the one where it heats, becomes less dense, and rises right there. And then at 2, we want it to be cools, becomes more dense, and sinks. Cools, more dense, sinks. 4. I mean, yeah, 3 and 4. That was so easy. 2 out of 10. Easy, easy. Describe the flow of energy cycling matter through Earth's interior. Select 3 correct answers. Okay, let's see. Matter always just stays beneath the surface. Wait, matter always stays just beneath the surface of the Earth? No, there's matter everywhere. Matter can be pushed by the flow of energy down into the mantle and then rise again in other areas? I guess so. That might be right. Matter can be pushed by the flow of energy down into the mantle all the way to the top of the core. Is this supposed to be based off of... Well, let's just check the reference table real quick. So it's saying it could be cycled all the way down to the outer core. I would say that's possibly right. So we'll say this is a maybe right. We'll see how wrong the other ones are. The energy to move matter and create a hotspot comes from the volcano. No, it comes from the core. The energy to move matter and create a hotspot comes from the core. Yes. The energy to move matter and create a hotspot comes from the subduction of the crust. No. So did I get 3? So we got 2 is good. Matter can be pushed down into the mantle all the way to the top of the core. Which core? The outer core or the inner core? I don't know. This question's weird. 5 is definitely good. I mean, I guess it's 3. I don't like this question. This is kind of which core? You know what I mean? Because if it was the inner core, I don't know if that would be right anymore. So we'll go with 2, 3, 5, and we'll say this question is a 5 out of 10 and odd wording. You know, we hope that on the actual test we're not going to have weird wording, because it's like kind of gets misleading. All right, radioactive decay of uranium-238. These elements are decaying and releasing energy as gamma radiation. Okay, 238. So right when I start to see uranium stuff, I'm going to say, okay, like maybe we should go to our chart here. So here's uranium-238. All right, let's see what it says here. Which set of terms constructs a correct explanation that describes the relationship between radioactive decay and the cycling of matter and flow within the Earth's interior? Okay, let's see. The radioactive decay of unstable isotopes generates, let's see, new energy every 1,000 years? No. New energy every half-life? Maybe. Yes. New energy continuously or periodically. These elements are decaying and releasing energy as gamma radiation. Reactants, products. So it is happening, it actually is continuously. Every half-life is just when the half-life is going to be, when the material is going to be 50% less of that material. So it is going to be, I'm going to go with 2. And then we're going to providing heat, yes, to the mantle material. This creates a convection current. First of all, convection currents in the mantle for C means this is the only right answer, automatically, which is expressed as any motion of the crust. So 2 is going to be the best answer. So honestly, even if you didn't know A, which was the tricky one in my opinion, C is the only one that this would work with. So that makes this pretty easy. I'll make that 3 out of 10. So it's going to be row 2. All right, we got 3 different rocks. We got igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Which of these rocks would be found in abundance at the tectonic boundary on Iceland? Okay, so we got to go to Iceland. We looked at that. Now, if you knew automatically that this was diverging and there's a magma chamber underneath, you would know that that's going to be made from lava and magma. So it's going to be igneous. So that you just literally have to know for content. So igneous rocks. And we could say igneous rocks form from the cooling and solidification of magma and lava. So because that's content, I'm going to rate that the highest, 6 out of 10. Like, if you didn't know that igneous rocks form from magma and lava, you're not going to get it. Based on the movement of the tectonic plates on Iceland showed on image 1, which model shows the direction of the convection currents? Okay, this is so easy because we need Iceland to go, we need it to be separating. So if you look at this one, model B just sticks out because this one's going that way from Iceland to the left of Iceland. This one's going right. That's the correct answer. This one's going left and this one's going left. So that's wrong. This one's going towards there and down there. This is very wrong. And this is going right and this is going right. So that's wrong. So the answer to this is model B. That one was so easy. I would literally give that a 1 out of 10. Write the letter of the model on the line and construct an explanation. Oh, okay, great. So we could say model B. The convection currents are causing the two plates to both move away from Iceland, creating a divergent plate boundary. So I didn't see that you had to write an explanation for this. I thought you just had to choose. So I'll bump it up to 2 out of 10 just because we had to write that out. All right. Well, that was that 6 cluster right there. I thought overall pretty straightforward, honestly. So, you know, we're hoping that that's what it's going to be like. All right. Thanks for studying with me. I'll catch you on the next one. Good luck.